Some men don't appreciate a good woman. At least that's what it seems like. For many of you who have either witnessed it or experienced it, where you try to love a man, be there for him, be that good woman, and yet he didn't respect and cherish it as you would think a man would. And it can become very frustrating and confusing because why, oh why, would men push away good women? Especially when you go on the internet and you see men claiming there are no good women and this and that and the other. And it's like, but you're right there. And he's still not seeing it for what it is. But there's a lot of reasons why that happens. And it's not always as cut and dry as men just don't appreciate it. No, we got to dive a lot deeper into it. So one of the big reasons why you see men push away a good woman, or a reason why a man would push away a good woman, is because he's afraid to hurt you. What do I mean by this? So here's the thing. And this is especially or more specifically true when we're talking about a man who maybe deep inside knows he's not ready to settle down yet. This is a lot more common amongst younger men, all right? Maybe in high school, college, whatever the case may be. But it can happen with grown men as well. And not saying a college man ain't grown, but it can happen at all ages where the man comes across a woman who he does see value in. He does have a level of desire to want to be with her. However, he knows there's a part of him that is not fully ready to be settled down and commit. And don't automatically go to, he just wants to run around the streets and do his thing. And yes, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes there are men who feel like they haven't gotten to live that life or get that out of their system yet. And I feel the need to say this is especially the case when a man has now experienced a new level of success, all right? And at this new level of success, he has options he didn't have before. And though this may all sound disgusting to some of y'all or just a bunch of nonsense, I'm just telling you what it is where, yeah, he may feel like, you know what, I just want to see what it's like to live single like this for a little while before I fully commit, especially if I see this woman as someone I can share my life with. Another possible reason is, forget he's become successful. It may be because he has not become successful enough. And he feels like, all right, you know what? I want to get to a certain place in life before I can move into this relationship. But I said in the very beginning of this that it was about him not wanting to hurt you. So here's the thing. He may feel like whatever it is that's causing him to hesitate, he knows deep inside he is not able or prepared to give you all that you need. And because he respects you, all right, he doesn't want to put you through that. There's this thing where I think women don't realize where sometimes a man will see a woman as a good woman and in his head be like, I won't even do that to her. Whereas the next woman, and I don't want anyone to feel offended or bad about this if they've experienced it, but the next woman they'll go ahead and play games with. They'll go ahead and lie and run her through, run her through all the hoops or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They'll make her go through all the nonsense because, and it's not even, I have to say this, it's not even just about simply he doesn't have respect for that other woman. Sometimes it's simply about he thinks that other woman is kind of like, is about that life, so to speak. All right. So he thinks, okay, no big deal. With her, I can do that. But with this other girl, this good woman, this good girl, whatever he wants to view her, I can't, I don't want to put her through all of that. All right. And so because of this, yes, there is a pushing away. I've even seen this happen a lot I've seen men who were best friends with women, madly in love with those women, but they knew they wanted more time to live out their single life. And again, I know some of you may think, well, if he's truly in love with that woman, why would he not want to give up everything else to just go ahead and be with her? Could the case be made that he's just not in love with her? There is a possibility that, yes, he's not truly in love enough, but I do think that due to societal brainwashing and other influences, which I will get into a little bit later, he figures, you know what, let me not jump the gun here. Let me wait. Let me be patient. Again, especially if he's younger, where someone might say to him, oh, you're too young. Don't rush, all these different things. And in the process of that, he ends up not rejecting the woman, but yes, essentially pushing her away and not being willing to move forward. So there is a lot of hesitation when it comes to not wanting to hurt someone if that man knows he's just not in a position to be the man that she's going to need him to be. Another reason why men push away a good woman is because he doesn't feel like he's good enough. So let's start with piggybacking off of the point that I made when the man feels like he has not reached a certain financial position yet, right? And depending on how he views that woman, and not just how he views that woman, how he views relationships in general, how he views marriage, if marriage is a desire for him, then to him it's like, I need to reach a certain level, whether it be financially, whether it be with having my own home. There's various goals that certain men set for themselves before they're willing to move forward. And meeting a woman before that time has come, it's like, dang, you're who I want, but I don't feel confident that this is the time that we should be doing this, or I can do this. But if to go further than that, if he views you in very high regard, true love and even just a high level of desire for someone, genuine desire, can pull out insecurities out of somebody, can make them feel more critical, or cause them to be more critical of who they are and what they quote unquote bring to the table. All right. And so now he starts to internalize what he's projecting onto you as to what is good enough to be with you. And I know that some of you might say, well, I don't need all that. And I don't care if he's not at that certain level yet. If I love him, I can be with him. And I hear you. But again, it's how he feels internally about it. And he's struggling to move past that. He's struggling to feel good enough. Now, I have to say that, listen, a lot of that also stems from past traumas, things from his childhood that have not been resolved, that have caused him to have very low self-esteem. And I can say this to you with a lot of confidence or with certainty. There are a lot of men, I've met them, I've talked to them, who when you look at them, well put together, I'm talking good looking men, tall, successful, have all the things a woman can ask for. And that man is so insecure, you wouldn't believe it. All right. And it's kind of like how they even say this about some women. I'm not going to talk about the women. Let's just talk about the men. The bottom line is, yes, there are a lot of men who struggle more than you realize with confidence. And some of them are able to put up a level of faux confidence, a level of this fake bravado when they're out and about. But once they actually get emotionally invested with a woman, that's when they start to get exposed. All right. And now they second guess themselves and they start to, feel like this isn't going to work. And that level of insecurity, that level of fear makes them run away from that woman. All right. And makes them try to find excuses or run to where they feel it is safer emotionally, which again, I'll get into that a little bit later. But remember that they will run to where it's safer emotionally. And I'll expand on that. But bottom line is, yes, not feeling good enough is a huge, huge reason why some men push a good woman away. All right, so let's keep this going. So the next reason why men push good women away is because of outside influences. So let's break down a few different angles here, all right, that I have witnessed firsthand. One, we underestimate sometimes how much negative outside influences can completely interfere with the potential relationship or destroy a relationship, all right? And they do so because there's various reasons. Some of them is because of personal bias. They may have other preferences of who they want that man to be with or that person to be with. A personal beef, a personal issue with the partner. So in this scenario, let's say, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say it's his mother and she has a personal beef with you that may have nothing to do with how good of a woman you are to him. All right. But there's something that happened or something that triggered her or whatever the case may be that causes her to look at you and want you out of the picture. Hell, it may be as simple as you are taking her man away. You know what I'm saying? Because there are some mothers who have, essentially they have made their sons out to be their man. All right. And now no woman is truly good enough. And any woman who takes him away in her eyes is a threat, is a problem that she has to now get rid of. And so now you have this mother who is going to pour negative thoughts into this man's head. Negative thoughts about, can he really trust you? Oh, you know, she's acting all nice, but that's not what she really is. I know women like her. You know what I'm saying? Or find ways to create chaos to then drive a wedge between you two and essentially have him walk away or push you away. All right. But let's go beyond mothers. Sometimes it might be homeboys, friends, male friends of his who in a misguided way just want their friend to be single again. All right. They're single. They want to be single. And if not pushing him to leave the woman, and I'll be honest, like I don't think typically the man doesn't the friends don't try to directly push the man to leave a good woman because the men understand, yo, you got something good, don't mess that up. But at the same time, you do have a lot of situations where the man will push that man to engage in behaviors or in activities that can be detrimental to the relationship. And out of a selfish desire to just have the guys do what they used to do and have fun like they always have fun. And in that, yes, that could then end up driving a wedge and creating a problem. That may not lead to him pushing the woman away, but it definitely can lead to problems arising in that relationship that essentially, and sometimes it is a pushing away because if you as the woman start to feel some kind of way and not want him hanging out with his friends like that anymore, now he feels like he has to distance himself from you because he may view it as you're trying to control him, when in reality it's due to the behaviors, the activities that he's engaging in. Anyways, you have scenarios where the male friends do it. You also have scenarios where female friends do it. All right. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, oh, hell no, my man ain't going to have no female friends. Now, listen, that's between y'all and what you want to do. All right. I think it's okay to have friends of the opposite sex as long as boundaries are in place. Respect has to be there. There has to be rapport between the friends and the partner. I believe there's a lot of things that have to be followed for that to be had successfully. But I do think there are a lot of scenarios where people are crossing lines they should not cross. And yes, sometimes it is the woman, the female friend, who has these secret feelings, all right, or just jealousy in the situation that causes her to now sabotage things. All right. Now, I can go, and then one more thing I have to add is the outside influence. This goes back to maybe men, and it could be women as well, telling a man, you know what? Like, again, typically more when the guy is younger, maybe college, whatever. You're young, take your time. You don't need to be in a relationship right now. So even though he desires this woman very strongly, these outside influences are telling him, no, wait. And then he mishandles the whole situation or he walks away. He doesn't know what to do. Bottom line is, yes, there's a lot of situations where these outside influences cause huge problems. And the one thing I will say to that, all right, as a way for you to be aware and to increase the chances of this not happening to you, is just making sure that when you are dating someone, you're in a relationship with someone, this is why communication between you two, it needs to be very strong. All right. This is why if you can't talk to each other, then there's no point, because if you ain't talking to each other, he's going to be talking to someone, you're going to be talking to someone. You don't want outside influences having more weight in your situation than what you guys can say to each other and work through with each other. All right. Not that it completely guarantees that the outside influences can't cause problems, but it at least lessens the chances of it. So you want to make sure you two have strong communication, that you're very open with each other. But you also have to be willing, this is what I feel the need to say right now. If you are dating a man and he's honest with you and says, yeah, my friends, feel like, or my mother feels like, it's not for you to hold a grudge. It's not for you to now look at them in such a negative way that it only creates more negativity in the situation, because that will only cause more drama. is for you to understand who the enemy is, all right? Understand who's your opposition, and then learn how to navigate it in a better, more positive manner. I was basically want to say, kill them with kindness. All right. Does it guarantee anything? No, but you don't want to give your enemy more ammunition. All right. So if you come in angry and swinging and all, and I'm not saying literally swinging, but metaphorically swinging because you're mad and you're like, oh my gosh, these people are hating on me. You're only going to make matters worse. And you're going to only overwhelm this man. And he may end up walking away because now he feels being pulled in two different directions that's just going to cause bigger problems. So don't become another negative source in that scenario. Be a positive one and try to work through it with him. All right, so now we're on number 4. And the fourth reason why men push good women away is because he has an unhealthy attachment to his ex, as well as he hasn't healed from his past. So let's talk about both of them. One, the unhealthy attachment to his ex. So I'm thinking of a scenario recently with a client where essentially dating a man, he's divorced, right? But it's clear that he is still holding on to hopes of getting back with his ex-wife, all right? And essentially this causes the man to be emotionally unavailable. And what happens, it happened in this scenario, and it happens in so many other situations where the woman may think or fall into the trap of thinking that, okay, if I just do this and then I just do that and I show him how great I am, you know, I can pull him away from that. And it's like, no, like he may, again, a man who is healed and able to give himself to you doesn't need you to convince him you're a good woman. He will see it. And if you are truly a good woman and you're exuding that, you don't have to go no extra lengths to try to show it and prove it. No, just be yourself. And he will recognize that. If he is struggling to recognize, or in this example, it's not even an issue of recognizing it, it's an unwillingness to embrace it because he is unable to let go of where he was before. So it's essentially he's holding on to that other situation. He can't hold on to you if he's holding on to something else. All right? And so you got to recognize when you're facing a situation that this is nothing else for you to do. All right? This is nothing else for you to do. And so he may do a push and pull. In a situation like this, he may push you away in the sense of he doesn't want you to get too close. He doesn't want things to go too far as the seriousness of it. However, he still tries to enjoy you here and there, or even a lot. All right. So in this sense, it's not just pushing you away as in pushing you out of his life. It's just pushing you away as keeping you at a distance, but close enough that he can still access you. And so it's important that you recognize what you are up against. All right. And when there are feelings involved for an ex, and sometimes, listen, I gave you an example where, you know, it would be easier to know that might be the case. But there's a lot of scenarios where you don't understand why this man pushed you away or pushed your friend away or whoever away. And what nobody understood was he's still in love with somebody else. But that's not something that people are forthcoming about, because for a lot of people, they're trying to suppress that, or they're in denial of it to a certain extent. But because it's still there and lingers within them, they're not able to really embrace what's in front of them. And so essentially at some point they will push you away, or as I mentioned, keep you at a distance. But as I stated in the when I made the point of what this was, he hasn't healed from his past is the other issue. And so essentially the unfortunate reality is, you know, to an unhealed heart, true love can be very scary. All right. And so though you are a great woman, though he may have serious, intense feelings for you, it's those intense feelings that scare him, because he hasn't resolved his past disappointment and hurt from before. And I think what a lot of women don't understand or are not fully aware of is how many men have been hurt, how many men have been let down, how many men have attempted to give their heart to a woman only to have it crushed. And so even if that past situation was deep infatuation ultimately, or was an unhealthy attachment, all he knows is I gave my heart and it was stomped on. Now I meet this woman who I think is a great woman and I feel strongly for her, but I'm afraid to put myself out there again. Now, of course, if I'm speaking to men, the same way I would tell the women, you gotta heal. And you can't let that stop you from embracing what's real in front of you. I'm just explaining to you the reality of what happens. And again, it could be that, or it could be, as I mentioned earlier, just other past traumas and issues that have caused the man to, as we talked about, not feel good enough, just be even just intimidated by the situation, about who you are. There's a lot of things, a lot of fears and issues creep in when people do not heal. And so that's another huge, huge reason why men push a good woman away. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So there's a great quote that says, texting isn't courting. Now, some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. I think we can all agree that texting has become a part of our everyday life.